Welcome to Lesson 2 of Learn Esperanto the Easy-ish Way. Here are some words for things you can find around the home. The word for house is domo, domo. Imagine building a large glass dome over a house to protect it from the rain. Domo. Room is ĉambro, ĉambro. Imagine that you must charm your brother before he'll let you into his room. Ĉambro. Roof is tegmento, tegmento. Imagine taking the mints and climbing up onto the roof so you can eat them all without sharing. Tegmento. Ceiling is plafono, plafono. Imagine painting your ceiling while standing on a platform. Plafono. Floor is planko, planko. Imagine placing a heavy wooden plank over the hole in your floor. Planko. Door is pordo, pordo. Imagine that a cat has pawed at your door with its sharp claws, scratching off all the paint. Pordo. Table is tablo, tablo. Imagine a group of celebrities standing on your table. Tablo. Chair is seĝo, seĝo. Imagine that sage herbs are growing on your chair. Seĝo. What is the English for seĝo? Chair for tablo. Table for pordo. Door for planko. Floor for plafono. Ceiling for tegmento. Roof for ĉambro. Room for domo. House. How do you say in Esperanto chair? Seĝo, table. Tablo, door. Pordo, floor. Planko, ceiling. Plafono, roof. Tegmento, room. Ĉambro, house. Domo. Here are some more adjectives. New is nova, nova. Imagine trying to read a brand new novel. It's so new that the author is still writing it. Nova. Long is longa, longa. Imagine a celebrity who is being driven around in a very long limousine. Longa. Wide is larĝa, larĝa. This word means wide and never large. So imagine a very wide chasm with a very large giant living in it. Larĝa. Dry is seka, seka. Imagine that your secretary is standing in front of a very large fan trying to get dry. Seka. Full is plena, plena. Imagine that the plane is full of passengers. Plena. What is the English for plena? Full for seka. Dry for larĝa. Wide for longa. Long for nova. New. How do you say in Esperanto full? Plena. Dry. Seka. Wide. Larĝa. Long. Longa. New. Nova. How do you say the house is new? La domo estas nova. The roof is long. La tegmento estas longa. The ceiling was wide. La plafono estis larĝa. The room was full. La ĉambro estis plena. The man is good. La viro estas bona. The man is not good. La viro ne estas bona. The table was dry. La tablo estis seka. The chair was not dry. La seĝo ne estis seka. The door and the floor. La pordo kaj la planko. The quick cat or the slow dog. La rapida kato aŭ la malrapida hundo. Now the word for new is nova, so the word for old must be malnova. Now you know two Esperanto words which mean old. You should use maljuna when you mean not young, and malnova when you mean not new. The other adjectives you've just learned can also be used with mal. Long is longa, so short must be mallonga. Wide is larĝa, so narrow must be mallarĝa. Dry is seka, so wet must be malseka. Full is plena, so empty must be malplena. What is the English for malplena? Empty for malseka. Wet for mallarĝa. Narrow for mallonga. Short for malnova. Old meaning not new. How do you say in Esperanto empty? Malplena, wet. Malseka, narrow. Mallarĝa, short. Mallonga, old meaning not new. Malnova. In Esperanto, there is no word for a or for an. You simply miss those words out. So nova domo means both new house and a new house. How do you say a long table? Longa tablo. A short table. Mallonga tablo. A cat is dry. Kato estas seka. A dog is wet. Hundo estas malseka. The house was full. La domo estis plena. The room was empty. La ĉambro estis malplena. The roof is wide, but the ceiling is narrow. La tegmento estas larĝa, sed la plafono estas mallarĝa. A king and a queen. Reĝo kaj reĝino. A young king and an old queen. Juna reĝo kaj maljuna reĝino. A new door and an old floor. Nova pordo kaj malnova planko. Here are the Esperanto words for on, above, in, and so on. The word for in is en. Imagine finding your own name in the encyclopedia. En. On is sur. Imagine holding your breath while standing on the entrance to a sewer. Sur. Above is super. Super. Imagine Superman as he flies high above the city. Super. Below is sub. Sub. Imagine a submarine as it moves slowly below the ocean's surface. Sub. In Esperanto, in front of is a single word. In front of is antaŭ. Antaŭ. Imagine that an enormous ant tower has been built in front of your home. Antaŭ. The word for behind is malantaŭ. Malantaŭ. Between is inter. Inter. Imagine standing between two squabbling interns. Inter. Beside is apud. Apud. Imagine asking someone, "Shall I put this beside you?" Apud. What is the English for apud? Beside for inter. Between for antaŭ. In front of for malantaŭ. Behind for sub. Below for super. Above for sur. On for en. In. How do you say in Esperanto beside? Apud. Between. Inter. In front of. Antaŭ. Behind. Malantaŭ. Below. Sub. Above. Super. On. Sur. In. En. How do you say the man is in the house? La viro estas en la domo. The woman is beside the man. La virino estas apud la viro. The boy is between the man and the woman. La knabo estas inter la viro kaj la virino. The girl is behind the boy. La knabino estas malantaŭ la knabo. The roof is above the ceiling. La tegmento estas super la plafono. A cat is below the table. Kato estas sub la tablo. A dog is on the chair. Hundo estas sur la seĝo. The king is in front of the queen. La reĝo estas antaŭ la reĝino. In Esperanto, you can't say the man's house or the boy's dog. Instead, you must say the house of the man or the dog of the boy. The word for of is de. So the man's house or the house of the man is la domo de la viro. The boy's dog or the dog of the boy is la hundo de la knabo. How do you say the house of the man? La domo de la viro. The man's house. La domo de la viro. The room of the boy. La ĉambro de la knabo. The boy's room. La ĉambro de la knabo. The boy's table. La tablo de la knabo. The king's chair. La seĝo de la reĝo. If you want to say something like the happy man's house, then of course you must say the house of the happy man. So how do you say the happy man? La feliĉa viro. The house of the happy man. La domo de la feliĉa viro. The happy man's house. La domo de la feliĉa viro. The unhappy man's room. La ĉambro de la malfeliĉa viro. To talk about more than one thing, in English you usually add the letter S. We have cats, dogs, boys, girls, elephants. In Esperanto, to talk about more than one thing, you add the letter J. So cat is kato, cats is katoi. The sound written as oj is pronounced like the oi in the English word toy. It is never pronounced like the oj in dodge. Here's another example. House is domo, houses is domoi. How do you say table? Tablo. Tables. tabloj, chair, seĝo, chairs, seĝoj. In Esperanto, estas can mean both is and are. So the cat is la kato estas. The cats are is la katoj estas. So how do you say the boy? La knabo. The boy is in the house. La knabo estas en la domo. The boys. La knaboj. The boys are in the house. La knaboj estas en la domo. The king. La reĝo. The king is below the table. La reĝo estas sub la tablo. The kings. La reĝoj. The kings are below the table. La reĝoj estas sub la tablo. There are a few English words which don't add the letter S. Dog becomes dogs, and cat becomes cats, but man doesn't become mans. Instead, it becomes men. Another example is woman, which becomes women. Words like this are exceptions to the usual rule in English, but there are no exceptions in Esperanto. Man is viro, men is viroj. Woman is virino, women is virinoj. How do you say the man and the woman? La viro kaj la virino. The men and the women. La viroj kaj la virinoj. The man is between the women. La viro estas inter la virinoj. Now, how do you say the big house? La granda domo. English speakers find that Esperanto is quite easy to learn, but the language has one or two features that might seem unusual. Let's talk about one of those features now. In English, if you want to talk about more than one house, you add the letter S to just one word. You say the big house and the big houses. In Esperanto, you must add the letter J to both words. So the big house is la granda domo. The big houses is la grandaj domoj. The sound written AJ is pronounced like the I in the English word by. It is never pronounced like the aj in badge. Here's another example. The good dog is la bona hundo. The good dogs is la bonaj hundoj. How do you say the big door? La granda pordo. The big doors. La grandaj pordoj. The table is beside the big doors. La tablo estas apud la grandaj pordoj. The dry chair. La seka seĝo. The dry chairs. La sekaj seĝoj. The table is in front of the dry chairs. La tablo estas antaŭ la sekaj seĝoj. The boys' table. La tablo de la knabo. The cat is on the boys' table. La kato estas sur la tablo de la knabo. The small cat is above the table because the bad dog is behind the door. La malgranda kato estas super la tablo, ĉar la malbona hundo estas malantaŭ la pordo. Hello. Saluton. Goodbye. Ĝis revido. Please. Mi petas. Thank you. Dankon. And that's the end of lesson 2.